What's going on, boys? We are back. Sunday stream, as always, week 7, London happening as we speak. You guys know the drill. Let's get this game going. We have a lot of boosts to use. We have a boost for live bets for this game, so we're definitely going to be checking into London and do some live betting on PTO. We, of course, have traditional boost. We have like a Caesars touchdown boost. We have a DraftKings boost, FanDuel boost. You guys know the drill. At this point, we're going to find bets for every single game, or I should say, we'll try to find bets for every single game. We'll discuss every game, but of course, lock in only the best of the best. We're going to use Pick the Odds as always on Sunday, an amazing tool that's consistently updating their features as well. So there's some stuff to walk through and talk about. So let me get my last promo tweet out. And we will dive right into it. Give me 1 second, boys. And let's do it. Again, there are some boosts over for live stuff for London, so we're definitely going to get into that. I think DraftKings or FanDuel definitely has a London live boost, if I'm not mistaken. I think DraftKings does as well. Let me log into everything to see what we got here. NFL. Maybe there isn't a live on FanDuel. It's on DraftKings, I think, but there's definitely a live boost. I know that we'll absolutely be using that, even if the limits are low, to find the most value. We'll be using Pick the Odds here. Ramped in the red zone. If you guys are not familiar here, Pick the Odds has everything that's going on in-game live, and their speed is ridiculous. So, yep, we have a 33% boost for live. Unfortunately, max bet $5 here, but anything we can use that on. And looks like the Rams might be ready to put this up to 21-0. That could be crazy. That first touchdown hit was also nasty, at 80-1. I forgot the guy's name because he's so, obscure. But if anybody bet that and hit that, shout out to you for cashing a 80-1, probably even better at certain shops earlier to start this game. We'll be checking in on this game as it goes, but we're going to go through every single game on the board like we always do. We're going to find some EV bets, and we'll go from there. But first, let's start off with an ARB. Let's see if we can get any free money to start off the slate with. Of course, we're probably going to have to wait for the games to, happen, but we can lock in ourselves hopefully some free profit here. I'm going to pause the ARB screen, and we're not going to – we got some three-way markets here, some live stuff that you're probably not going to have time to get in on. A lot of La Liga ARBs. Wow, okay. This is definitely the spot to be looking for some live stuff, as in some live La Liga. As you can see, we're seeing 12%, 10%, all the way up here, seeing crazy high ARB percentages at the top. What do we have? As much as 28% there, but of course, these are live, so you're going to have to be quick. Let's unpause. We have some German hockey. We got everything on the odds screen here. Some more Champions League stuff, but let's find some ARBs. It doesn't really matter, of course, what sport we're betting it in. Rivers and 365, not necessarily two books that'll take a ton. Preseason NBA, or this is for the opener, actually, never mind. We'll pass on that for now, unless you guys want to lock that in, hold your money up for a couple of days, though. Probably not worth it. See if we can find something for today. Any NFL ARBs here. Right here, we actually have a nice one. Myles Garrett assisted tackles. How much liquidity is at ProfitX? 188. So not like a ton of money to get down from everybody across the board, but there is a free 1233. I don't know if DK has taken 215.67 on a Myles Garrett assist prop. So maybe not the best ARB there, just from like a liquidity standpoint. But if you have a Hard Rock and you have a FanDuel, which I know Hard Rock's in a bunch of states, put 105 there. Free 765 here, 3.9% ARB. And a FanDuel DraftKings, this is actually live tennis. Live tennis, so that probably has moved by now. But another couple of ones right here. Actually, this is a nice one. Longest reception here for Xavier Hudson. Now, this is for tomorrow's game, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. Do $100 just to make it simple. But there's a free 889 here over at DK and FanDuel. 145, 125. Click this button and both screens pop up. I will share my screens accordingly so we can make sure we lock that in. But this is actually a free $8 plus here. Let's flow it up. DK 1455 minus 125. Back to FanDuel. The plus 145 is there. That's crazy stuff in my slip. Exiting it out. Share at 145. So based on PTO, we have lagging a bit. We have a free depends on how much money you put down. So let's change it to $100. I'll switch back, but a free $8.89. Bet $100 at that over on FanDuel. Same price at MGM, so it depends where you have more money. So either way, FanDuel or MGM, DraftKings or MGM to FanDuel, there is a free $8.89. Honestly, if you still have accounts at both, you might as well split it up at both there. Maybe bet the $200 at FanDuel, then split it between DK and MGM. Of course, books that are quicker to limit, but just like that, free 8s plus, depending on how much you can get down. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of this as we speak, and they're getting a nice ARB, and it's also a Hard Rock as well. So 3 options to get in, 9 times 3, only $27 of profit. Actually, this is $100, but 1,000. I wish we would take $1,000 down on these obscure props there, but way to start. A couple of free ARBs there, FanDuel to DraftKings, MGM, and Hard Rock. So let's go through every game. We'll start on the EV screen today. Seeing 2nd and goal on the Jacksonville 1. You guys are probably going to be ahead of me here, but let's see if there's any EV we can start off. I have a lot of stuff that I've already bet today, a lot of games that I want to look into, a lot of stuff that I want to find. So we're going to, of course, make sure we're getting the best of everything. We'll see how the markets are moving and go from there. Kyron live plus 220. I mean, they just scored 21-0 as we see here. We'll see who's the one who scored. I'm sure you guys probably already saw, but on PTO, I'll find out shortly. ETN at DK, they have the boost as well. I have the game pulled up. I'm actually just going to bet this right now. Honestly, I have it already pulled up on my DK. It's plus 290 now. What we're looking for, 310. So it already dropped 20 cents, unfortunately, as we'll see with the so that already dropped to 290, unfortunately. But with the boost, there'll still be EV to the market. Getting some lag here. That's on me. Yeah, that one's already gone. Kyron 220, Kyron 210 at FanDuel as well. ETN was showing value quickly at FanDuel. I'm curious who scored there. But still seeing some Kyron, a good amount of Kyron. ETN 310 at FanDuel. It's 290 at DK, but when you add in the boost for this 290, it's not going to be the same number here, of course, because this is a 310, but 33% boost. You're going to see what that would be with a 310. It just dropped already to 235. So you got to be quick when doing the live stuff. I didn't get into ETN there, but unfortunately, it looks like the situation went back to 300. So I'm betting it now. 399. Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown, 399 live on DK with the boost, plus 300 were the best odds, and we can pull back up the live odds screen here. I'm guessing a touchdown got wiped. No, was there a pick? What's going on here? Seeing too many crazy things going on, but just locked in that ETN live. So sweating an ETN touchdown now at really great odds. Thanks to Pick the Odds showcasing that to us. But what is going on here? We could see the live box score here. Devontae got the TD, another one, man. The second of the game. He was like minus 120, I think, at some point. I think he was higher eventually. Oh, yeah, we're already going. Tay, 2 touchdowns, 34 yards. So it was always Tay to take over after it was always a after the news, of course, for Puka Nacua. Like Tay, I thought his numbers might be a bit high. I ended up actually betting some Tay. I have Tay over 76.5 yards, I want to say. I think I got a pretty good number there. But now they're up 21-0. He's only got 34. And, of course, second half script might get out of the way there. And Jake did say Devonta Ladder on 2+ TDs on the Wednesday stream. Jake called it out. That was nice. He hit that straight as well. That's a great hit and a great reason to also watch the Wednesday stream, because we're talking about this game early. Don't really cover it on the Sunday stream, of course, because we're already live. So let's go game by game here. Panthers Jets. Now I already have the under, and the market has agreed with the move here. Adams 2+ TDs. That is crazy, except it's really not that crazy considering the odds. Not that crazy considering the odds there. Panthers Jets. Let me lock back in for a second here. Brian Thomas, big catch. I got a lot of overstimulation going here, but the Jets are now. It looks like the market's coming back around here. Let's look at how this market has moved throughout the week here. Panthers were always favorites, but now it's looking like we're getting closer here, as you can tell. Let's even go back even further. Let's go to 10. This is 16. This is, of course, PTO's relatively new. This came out, I think, about like a month ago. But this is a great feature to see both money lines at the same time. See kind of how it opened. This is 6 days ago, so we can go even further back, of course. Panthers, dogs, and then look at this flip because the Panthers are this orange line here. Flip back to, kind of around 110 each way. Then the Panthers are favorites all week, a little bit of closeness. And then now we're getting a bit closer on each side. And let's look at the Panthers odds specifically. Let's just see how they have moved. I have to zoom out a bit here. Yeah, then if we click this right here, we can go just to the Panthers odds and see exactly how they moved at each sports book as well. Some liquidities, another amazing feature. Pick the odds. Got a bit of lag. I don't have that many tabs open, so I'm curious about that. Here we go. Well, let's take off some of these books here because we don't need to see the ESPNs, MGMs, FanDuels of the world. We could stick to like Circa, Novig, and Pinnacle. Jags are back in the red zone quickly. Look at PTO refresh. My network is being a bit slow here. ETN getting some carries in the red zone. Hopefully that can come through for our live touchdown we just took. All right, let's go back into this. I want to see the Panthers and their movement specifically as well. Yep, and let's just only show Circa. They have been sitting at 118. Now they're down to 115, as we can see. So some bit of movement here. It's getting a bit closer to game time. It's interesting to note here, ETN, another rush going on now. But I bet the under here, and I think this is a great game for unders, really. Travis Hunter getting a carry. Okay. Market has moved. I have 42.5, so I'm sitting on a good number, fortunately. At this point, I don't think it's bettable, honestly. This 41.5 at Novig is honestly decent. Only $243 of liquidity here, so not a ton. But let's get into some props. There's a guy who I've been talking about all week, and I think he's good to go. The market has moved a bit against him, but I think it's just a product of the total moving. But I love Tet again to score a touchdown this weekend. Let's look at some of the odds here. Circuit's at 190. You get the same price at Novig. So we're not getting some EV there, though. A 208 at Profits actually a good number with $600 of liquidity, which is actually pretty solid for an anytime tutty on like a relatively obscure. I would bet this 208 at Profit X, like undoubtedly. Honestly, I already have some action at like a worse number, to be honest. But this 208 at Profit is good EV to the market, to Circa. Good liquidity, and I think from like a matchup standpoint, Tet is so live to score today. He is like their number one receiver by a long shot. And Bryce Young has been bad at home, on the road in his career and all those kind of numbers there, but the Jets are like absolutely washed. And I think that the Panthers, whether or not they win, of course, the total is low. I think he's live. I think this receiving yard number is also a bit off. 54.5 at Circa, Penny, and Bookmaker. We're getting 52.5, albeit 2 cents more expensive at both FanDuel and DK. But I actually really like this Tet McMillan touchdown as well as yards. I'm a big fan of Tet this Sunday, going back-to-back weeks for the rookie. Hopefully, score a touchdown. I'm in. Give me the Tet McMillan. Jets under, Tet touchdown, and Tet over yards are things I like as well. We're going to get through, again, every single boost. We're going to make sure we're maximizing, getting some stuff as well for Tet. Hopefully we can get a Travis Etienne anytime touchdown now. They're in the red zone. Let's stalk this game right now. Let's go back to the odds screen. Let's see if we get what we're looking for here with a live ETN. Looks like a good snipe that we got in. Definitely a great price. And let's see if we hopefully can get some of this love here. 3rd and 7, though. We got the box score, we got the play-by-play, see what happened. We got ETN with a 4-yard gain. Then we have Travis Hunter losing a yard, 3rd and 7 here. But it looks like this game is happening as we speak. So let's get this 2-minute warning over with, and let's see what happens here. Minute 56. So, of course, like the 2-minute warning leaked a little bit there. We can look at some other live stuff while we're waiting. Player props, of course, Tay is absolutely cooking. Potential garbage time game script. So let's see what we can get from maybe like a passing yards perspective. Trevor Lawrence, incomplete pass. Okay. This team is absolutely trash. As you see, 4th and 7. And again, we have the live box score. This is the play-by-play is a bit slower, but like all the information you want to see here on PTO is like as fast as possible, realistically. Travis Hunter incomplete. Do you have to go for it here? 4th and 7. I feel like Liam Cohen might be taking points. He tried to do that last drive, and they shanked that field goal here. So I'm very curious if they take the 3 or if they go for it. I mean, you're down 21. They got the ball first as well. So like giving the ball back to LA with 3 timeouts to potentially score. The Rams call a timeout. Yep. Rams call a timeout as we see. Curious what goes on here, but let's go to some passing yards. Let's see if like Trevor, what he's being priced at now. Stafford, seeing some 110 over at DraftKings, 243 on the game right now. He has 127 yards. So you could potentially anticipate them running the ball out. We're seeing some EV to the over. With that being said, this under is also the best price on market at DK. Kalshi with some crazy numbers. I don't know how legitimate that liquidity is for, or that price is for this contract. I mean, maybe it is. I don't think it'd be a PTO thing. I know Kalshi had some of their issues yesterday with suspending certain players from using markets, but then they ended up making it right. So I don't know if I think it's just like Kalshi's scaling at such a rapid pace that they're just having some issues that they need to like figure out, which like kind of makes sense. But hopefully they're continue to do right. But Stafford is absolutely cooking, as we know. I'm really curious to see if they take this 3 right now or go for it. Trevor Lawrence rush. He's got to get 6 or 7, it looks like. So if it's designed, you guys are probably watching and know better than me. I'm just watching the score here. I'm seeing a Rams football, so I'm assuming he did not get there. That's what I have to go with. 5-yard rush, aka short, aka the Jags are absolute dog. And now we have to sweat our ETN in the second half. But let's keep going for the live odds screen. Kind of an ugly slate, honestly. Kind of an ugly slate. Raiders Chiefs. I talked about yesterday. I'm a big Hollywood guy today. I don't think Hollywood's going to be the first person to get like phased out of this. And I'm going to pull up some numbers from FTN as well. I know Rashee Rice is finally back in the mix. So if you're a Chiefs fan or a Chiefs future bettor, you're finally, interested, or you're a Chiefs survivor player as well. This is probably the best news out there. I'll also get Underdog going on my other monitor, and I'll switch between that as well, so we can make sure that we are capitalizing on any injury news that we might get, as well as some sharp betting reports as well. Let me get Underdog and FTN up so we have that going for us. FTN. So I'm going to pull up receiving stuff for the Chiefs because I do like Hollywood stuff. I don't think Hollywood's going to be the odd man out, at least in the first week of the Rashee Rice. And again, I know Rashee Rice is obviously coming back from suspension and not injury here, which are much different. He's coming from injury. I feel a lot more strongly about it, but I think we're still getting, much better odds here. Let me pull up also. There's 2 things I want to pull up. I want to pull up Patrick Everson because of his sharp reports from Prime Sportsbook, which is, of course, a sharp shop. That their like pros versus Joe's reports have actually been like very good because they actually do take bets from like sharper, more professional sports bettors. So when they're tweeting that stuff, it's always good. We like to look at that. And Underdog, of course, to see any of the latest injury news here. Seeing Vikings hope McCarthy plays in next week 9. Fowler, Chuba, Dowdle expected to trade series early. Titans expected to simplify offense for Ward. I found this to be hilarious because their offense is already so simple and so bad. Like, what else could they even do? We got Ertz in, Diggs to play, Myers, game time. It's not a ton of news from like this morning just yet on Underdog, so we'll keep tabs on that. But going back to Hollywood, I'll pull up some FTN stuff as well. We got to take a look at these things like holistically. Now, Hollywood Brown, if we're going to like snap percentage, 60.4% snaps. Number 3 overall in targets for the Chiefs. Of course, Worthy missed some time and he got absolutely peppered in that week 1 game. So that kind of obscures the numbers a little bit. And of course, there's none of this data has Rashee Rice in it. But some of the usage stuff here. Route participation, Hollywood 74.4%, because they're still Like Worthy, of course, is going to be the deep ball threat. He's only running a route on 38.1%, though I think that has to do with, the injuries and him missing 2 games. It has that like overall number low. We could, of course, filter to last week and the week prior when he was kind of back fully healthy. So let's just do last week route percentage. Marquise down to 63.3%, through 63.6%. Noah Gray running a lot of routes. Tyquan Thornton was not running a ton of routes at all. Juju still at the 60%, 3 for 57. Hollywood 4 for 45. All this to be said is now that you add Rashee Rice, I don't think that takes away from Hollywood. I really don't. So let's go ahead to PTO and look at some Hollywood props. First touchdown, 15-1. That's not really where I'm targeting. I'm looking for straight up just like receiving yards. I think this stuff could be like way too low at this point. Where are we sitting at? 24.5. So I actually got in at Hollywood at 17 plus, which I think was a great number. This 23.5 minus 110 at MGM, I absolutely love. Let's confirm that it's there. It should be, but I think this is a great price. The Raiders, of course, their defense is abysmal. Yes, you get Rice back. Yes, of course, you have Worthy. I was looking at some Vikings earlier. This is a good bet. I like Hollywood to clear that. I really do. He's running, again, a high percentage of routes. He is a player who, of course, like is relatively trusted as well. We saw that when Worthy went down. I definitely think that Hollywood is not going to be the one who is just immediately kind of getting shafted from like a target share perspective with Rice back. I expect like Juju to probably take a step back because he's not even running as many routes. Noah Gray, I don't know if he's going to be running as many routes. He'll, of course, be on the field because he is more of like a blocking tight end as well. He's actually pretty talented, but give me all the Hollywood. And let's check receptions as well. Let's see what they're thinking for this. 2.5 receptions, so 3 catches for Hollywood. Again, I know it's like not the same stuff going on because, of course, we do have Rashee Rice now in the mix, but I really find it hard to believe that Hollywood is the one who's just like, nope, like, we're good. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I don't think that's going to be the case. So give me Hollywood Brown. Let's look at some other things here. First touchdowns. For the Chiefs, there's always going to be fun odds because like they have such a diverse pass catching unit. And while I do think the Raiders are absolutely live against the number, I think that would probably be a product of like late game, like last minute backdoor covering rather than like the Raiders being in it the entire time. Pacheco, not interested anymore at this point, though. His odds are coming down big time. But they give him Rice in his debut. Yeah, they're just like juicing these numbers too low. As much as it very easily could be your Rashee Rice first tutty. I'm personally not betting it at that number. Xavier Worthy. 10-1, 365 is actually a pretty good price. Like if you get 265, I would absolutely, honestly bet this Worthy. Let's keep seeing what other Chiefs could be at. Not saying we're definitely betting Chief or a first touchdown here, but just out of curiosity, some prices. 3-1, 30-1 for Juju. Though I think I would anticipate Juju kind of losing a bit of a role here. Kelsey can't always forget about the big man, but again, best price at Circa. No, thank you. All right, it doesn't seem like there's anything really too intriguing to bet here, except let's look at Kareem Hunt. 10-1, 11-20 ESPN is actually pretty solid. That would be the place to bet it if you were to go with Kareem Hunt. Of course, now there's been a bit of a Pacheco's odds are changing. That was like he was like 4-1 like 2 weeks ago, and now he's like back to like the 190 range for anytime touchdown. I don't know if that's that sticky. So we'll move on. We'll of course be checking back on every game and finding some more stuff here. But as it stands for that game, I just have some Hollywood stuff. I'm definitely very pro Hollywood here. Vikings Birds. I love Jettas today. I know it's not going out on a limb to say I love Jettas, but I'm a big fan of Jefferson. Let's look at some of his numbers here. Of course, we're going with some Wentz stuff at home. Philly coming off a short week. It's up to 83.5. This 110 at Caesars being the best price in market, I actually like that a lot as well. I actually got Jazz at 79 plus, over 78.5. So definitely some CLV there, or anticipated CLV. But I like this for Justin Jefferson. What's this touchdown? 150 ESPN, good to market. I mean, 140 at Novik, 129 Kalshi, 135 and 141 here, circa penny. Jetta's anytime at plus 150 ESPN is a very good price, and definitely a bet that is worth making. Let me check back in on some of these boosts to see what we got to use. We have a DraftKings 33% boost on a touchdown. Maybe we'll use a straight, or maybe we'll do a parlay TBD. We have a Sunday night boost, and we have a 20% boost on a 3-legger as well. So we definitely have some good stuff to work with at DK, and also a 30% boost at FanDuel. So I'll make sure to get everything in on that. Let's go to some more games where I already have some vested interest and like have some things I want to call out. And Commies Cowboys. I know it's a 425er, but we'll talk about every game here. Washington, no Terry, no Debo. Ertz banged up but playing. Cowboys are getting CeeDee Lamb back. Their defense, obviously, as we know, has been bad all year, and looks like Trayvon Diggs isn't playing. But this is a game where when we go into touchdowns, like I think Lamb is certainly live. But I've talked about this a bit this week. I think Pickens is still beyond live. This number has moved like a good amount. I don't know if we have odds history here. We do. It was as low as 45 at open. Now it's kind of going up to 170. But let's look at Circa, because I think they were as high. Oh, they were 160. Some of these books were as high as like 180, I want to say. Maybe not. Maybe I missed it. 140. I mean, there's no way the over really opened at minus 140, but it's MGM, so I guess you never necessarily know. What's Novik's liquidity at here for Pickens? 1.6K with 4,100 contracts. With 1.6K in liquidity, the under 2.9K, 4,400 contracts. I think Pickens is so live. I think that he is still getting a bit disrespected. Now, I know without CeeDee Lamb, or with CeeDee Lamb, and I'll actually pull up FTN here and we can look at it. Like, it's not like he was doing what he was doing, without him, as we know. His overall snap share was down. What was that, weeks 1 and 2? I'll switch over my screen in a second here. Weeks 1 and 2, we're going with snap percentage here. Pickens still number 2, because of course he is the number 2 receiver. CeeDee, of course, dominating that there. 24 targets to 13 targets. So again, CeeDee Lamb at the alpha. Have that Pickens at 170. I love that. I absolutely love that. I bet him in a touchdown lay, which I'll of course give out ASAP. But I think I got it at higher. But maybe I'm tripping. No, I got it actually at 160, unfortunately, which is like pretty on par with market now. But it was in a lay, so I wasn't like losing or trying to like maximize per se. And that I have Tet McMillan anytime and Pickens anytime, and there's Drake London anytime. So those 3 legs were 17.59. So there's no way that hasn't gotten better from a pricing perspective. Like, could be saying that it's like a bad bet. I mean, it's a 3-leg touchdown parlay. Don't get me wrong, it's not a ideal bet by any means. But with that being said, what's it now? 17. It's 1903. I'm double betting that. This is one where I'm going on kind of off vibes, and you're kind of giving me better price. Drake London, I think, is so live. I talked about this all week. Tet, I think, is so live. I don't care if the under has dropped and Bryce Young's bad on the road. Like, the Jets are abysmal, and they do scheme things up for him. And George Pickens, this 14-1 first touchdown ESPN, give me all of that. But we're looking at FTN here. I want to go back to usage quickly. Route percentage, running more routes than CeeDee when CeeDee was healthy. Opportunities, fewer opportunities than CeeDee. But again, what he's done these past couple of weeks against, now we have Washington's defense that struggles against like WR1. So I do expect CeeDee to turn up. But I also think Pickens fits that mold. And if CeeDee is limited, they're not playing him, like as much as you would expect for CeeDee Lamb because of the injury. Maybe they're like, I won't say like babying him, because that's obviously not the right way to put it. But like, if they are cautious with him, I like that. And I also like CeeDee, man. I think this is a game where it's like the chalk is going to prevail. Now, Washington side, it's like, who is the chalk? Like, that's unknown. We have Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, and we can look at some prices for some of these down the line guys because of the injuries. Bill anytime. Let's look at Bill rushing, because the Commanders, now this is how I think about this game. I think if the Commanders win, it has to be an under game, because they're not winning a shootout with their limited amount of weapons. And the way that they play the best defense is to not play any defense and to just run the ball down their throat and to take off as much time as possible on the clock. I want rushing yards here. That's rushing TD. I can't type. Rushing yards. Let's see what Bill is at. Bill is at 66.5 at Circa. I actually like that. You're getting 112 at FanDuel at the same price, 113 at DK, or 110 at ESPN. So actually ESPN having the best price here. I like Bill rushing because that's the only way Washington really stays in this game is if they're able to give the ball to Bill. He's able to like get some, drives going by, 3-4 yards at a clip. Doesn't need to like tear massive runs and like kill it. That's the only way Washington could win. So I think from like a parlay standpoint, if you want to like maybe get cute, it's Washington and the under. With that being said, I absolutely love Dallas here. And I would definitely bet Dallas. And the market has moved, and this isn't like a hot take as we're going to see in a second here. Let me zoom out for a sec. Average line for both of these teams. We can see how the market has moved throughout the course of the week here because the boys are now decidedly favorites. Of course, a lot of that is piggybacking on the injury reports for the Commanders. But look at this. A pure flip here. Commanders favored -139. This is back a while ago, but if you go back closer to October 7th, now October 10th. So now we're into this week. Commanders favored. And then as limits rise and injury news comes out, boom, we have a complete flip. Cowboys favorited. Commies are dogs. Now the question is this price like totally indicative of everything that you need to know? Like, for example, is the question really is like, did the market move enough at this point? Clearly they're interested in Dallas, and the news is confirming that Dallas is like the side that the sharp bettors want to be on. But then the question becomes, did it move enough? I don't know if it did, honestly. Like a Dallas -2.5 is only $269 of liquidity here at Novig. I think is live. I think Dallas, depending on some pricing, let's see, as good as 6.5, because the commies do a good job of keeping things close and not getting blown out. This 220 at Dallas -6.5 at Hard Rock, I think is a great price. I'm interested in Dallas alts at this point, like honestly. And I'm a Commander fan. Their defense is just abysmal. Dallas' offense fires on all cylinders. The Commies have done a good job of like backing up like crappy games this year, meaning that like after they do like pull up an absolute egg, they have been playing better, but they get off to a lot of slow starts. And yes, Dallas' D is so bad, but Jaden can't do it without any help whatsoever. And he's getting like no help whatsoever from his pass catching unit. His running backs are fumbling a ton. It hasn't been pretty, and I don't expect that to just like turn around, to be honest with you guys. So I'm so interested in Dallas. In terms of pricing at this point, though, from the spread, because I do think that they're like alternate line, like you could bet this 104 at Novig, looking at liquidity. Yeah, Dallas -1.5, -104 is a great bet to me, honestly. Let's pull it up. And I'm going to bet it right now, honestly, because I haven't bet it. I bet them in like a parlay just for fun. But considering the pricing here, Dallas -1.5, -104. That's the best we're going to get here. And I think it hasn't moved enough, honestly. If you have Hard Rock, I would bet some alternate lines here. If you're betting some parlays, like I think I would honestly like dabble with alternate line things. But again, not a and shout out to the boys, Novig. If you guys want to get started with Novig, you guys can use promo code BetSmart, 100% purchase match up to $25. But this is the best price in market, and this is a bet. This is absolutely a bet. Dallas -104. Shout out to Novig. We'll be using them all stream long to find value. And there is just so often the best price in market here. Like it's not even debatable. Like we'll pull up the odds screen here and we'll see how many times, as you see already, Novig has the best price in market on both sides of games. So shout out to Novig. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And yeah, they're absolutely worth utilizing, especially for our Dallas bet right there. So that's a stream tail, Dallas on the money line, and George Pickens touchdown stuff I love.
Still at half here. We're going to go through every single game again and keep everything going. Now, this Dolphins Brownies game total has plummeted because of the anticipated weather. But I was talking to Cleve TA, a Browns fan, Cleveland resident. He was talking about the weather, and on that lake, you really never know what's going on. Like, it could be like the worst weather possible, as we've seen a few times in Cleveland, or it could be situations where the weather isn't nearly as bad as kind of anticipated. So could be a case where like the total has dropped a bit too much, but of course we know the Browns offense struggles, but the worst defense in the league, the Dolphins offense can struggle, and it's the best defense in the league. So that's definitely a tough situational matchup there with the weather. But here's another play that I want to look at. Let's go to Saints Bears quickly. Quick pivot here. I saw some EV here, and I think it's still available. And I think we should, I already bet it, and I think if it's still available, it's like absolutely worth betting. I bet Rattler anytime. 7-1 at FanDuel. This is the price I got it at. It did bounce to 7.5-1 at one point. Let's pull up the chart here because I definitely saw 750. As you see, it was there, 1053. So during stream, in the beginning of stream, it was there. I love this Rattler. He hasn't scored a touchdown, but he has been running the football. And I'm going to pull up some stuff on FTN quickly to like showcase how Rattler in the rushing game like is not, I think, getting as enough love as he could be. And the price, considering it's like a pretty solid outlier to the rest of the market, like beating Novig and Kalshi, which I love to DVig to for these kind of bets as well. But going to some rushing stuff, Rattler, 26 attempts on the year. Red zone, 4 attempts, which is only one fewer than Kendre Miller. So this is obviously going to be like a scramble drill situation. And I hate to be the narrative street guy, but like I think in the NFL, like it does happen, like motivational spots. Like we know that Caleb took his job at Oklahoma. Rattler clearly says there's no love lost. I can anticipate Rattler like doing the most to try to score a touchdown here. And again, obviously the ball's in his hands all the time as the quarterback. He's rushing the ball. He's got 26 attempts this year. So that's not like this is kind of priced at 7-1 as like not as bad as I would say like an Aaron Rodgers, of course, or like a Stafford, who are guys who like it's a sneaker bust situation for them. If Rodgers is even sneaking these days, though we did do pretty well on the rushing on Thursday. This is just purely like a guy who could take off from the 5-yard line and get in, like more like a la Bryce Young. Just because he hasn't done it, I think we're getting just a very good price for Rattler. Excuse me, but from like how he's playing from a red zone rushing perspective and an overall rushing perspective, to me, this is 7-1's a bit high. So I'm market average is 522. There's also a 30% boost on FanDuel. I'm going to save it for something else that we'll utilize it on, but I bet this already. And I missed the 750. It did move against me, but then it moved back as we saw. So give me Rattler, man. Give me Rattler anytime. And I also saw some value to Swift. Let's see if it's still there. But let's see. DeAndre Swift, where is he at? I know he was banged up, and there were like reports whether or not he would play. Again, Novig, 111. Profit X with 114 actually here. Dylan Sampson was 17-1 earlier, now down to 9.5-1. That's a massive snipe. Obviously, how much scoring there's going to be done. And like I know that Judkins' like rush number has jumped up from like 83 to like 93. So like again, the anticipated ground game to continue. So getting a guy like Sampson who does get a bunch of usage at 17-1 is absolutely like intriguing, very intriguing. So that's a great snipe there for anytime tutty. I love that. But Swift, circa at even money here. Profit X 114. This is a good price. FanDuel and Novig, of course. If you're going to bet any of these numbers, of course, bet at Profit X. Next best there, Novig. I think Swift. It flashed on the EV screen prior as well. So let's pull it up. And we can also start checking out some live stuff. I would assume this game has started back up again. It's been a minute. Yep, Rams are getting after it. But let's see some EV stuff. Check some game lines after as well. We've been looking at props mostly, but we'll check some game lines, see if anything has clicked here. Brian, or that's Bijan. I can't tell if it's Bijan or Brian. I have to assume Bijan because it's 5.5 line, even though it's 185, but that's Hard Rock only. Jalen Noel is Monday, though that is an intriguing price if that does hold 13-1 to the market. So that's definitely worth looking at there. Jalen Noel, the Rook. Kenny Dub. I want to try to find some more widely available stuff. Shaheed under 3.5. The FanDuel. This looks like a good one, honestly. Just dropped to 115 though, as we saw, so we just missed out on that, unfortunately. Low EVs because of course we're close. Kendre anytime at 375. I was talking about Kendre a lot this week, and I'm going to pull up ESPN. This could definitely be worth betting based on the market, 1, and 2 anticipated game scripts. Now, don't have FanDuel in this DVIG. Let me filter that and get some FanDuel into the touchdowns, because I do think DVIGing from FanDuel is definitely the move for touchdowns. With that being said, I still will bet some TDs there, especially when it's still EV to Circa or like the rest of the market. But let's player props. And this is also a sneak peek into what you can do with PTO. I know a lot of guys who have been on stream with me. First of all, I appreciate you guys for tuning in every week. I do have some FanDuel, only 0.25 for touchdowns, which is fine, I think. Circa 125. Probably add some bookmaker, honestly, because they also have good pricing and liquidity. I'll do 2.5 there. I have both sport trades or all 3 locations. I'm honestly going to take off those and just stick with NJ. So we have sport trade NJ, which I have at 0.5%. Bookmaker, FanDuel, Novig, Profit, Penny. Has some forecasters as well. Kalshi, then Circa. I'm going to drop Circa to actually no. I'm going to keep Circa at 1.25. These EV counts for touchdowns have been hot, honestly, as well for like anything. So let's refresh now that we have a little bit of FanDuel added. We got rid of some other sports trades. We're keeping the Sports Trade New Jersey here and see what else pops up. Pacheco 195. The thing is, like, while this is EV and like this already intrigues me, the fact that he's been as high as like 4-1 like 2 weeks ago, because we bet it on stream when he was 4-1, and they actually did get some line value, though we didn't score. To me, it's like I can't really feel as justified in betting a 195 on a guy who was 400 2 weeks ago. And it's not like he like exploded, scored 3 touchdowns, and kind of was back in that sense. So I'm laying off that. But Kendre again, 375. This is still interesting to me. Would have liked if there was some Circa in here, but this is intriguing to me. Let's keep rocking here. This is for Monday. Jameson Williams. I kind of like his under from like a ball perspective, so I'm not pulling trigger on it over. Dowdle anytime, 135 on FanDuel. Market average 116. This is even though I like to deviate from FanDuel and like they're off market. Like to me, this is still a good bet. We have the Hutchinson from the ARB earlier. I'm keeping this in my slip right now because we can have a 30% boost. Of course, this could move. I would definitely bet this straight. I'm pulling up my phone now to get in. I'm betting some Dowdle. I think that while this is an under game, this is like if there are going to be scoring, it's going to be Tet, I think, or Dowdle is, of course, a good option. So keeping Dowdle in the slip and betting him straight and then keeping him in the slip for potentially using the boost on. But I'm in on Dowdle. So we have a bunch of stuff that we're locking in. I'm keeping reuse selection. So he's in my slip loaded for anything else we find on FanDuel. We're trying to use that 30% boost. Chris Moore, he gets a ton of targets. They love him as a veteran. Ertz, 4.5 receptions. Now, I'm intrigued by this because of like the injury stuff, but he's also a bit banged up himself. Kayshon Boutte, 310. I like this also. I'm adding this to the FanDuel slip right now as well because we could probably quickly bet this 30% boost and see what we get for just these 2 legs themselves. I know Bootie's obviously like a hot name now because of what he's been doing recently, but I do think that he, at this price, seeing some EV. Yes, FanDuel's sharper in these markets, but I think, again, that's just might be a little off. And if we do just Boutte and Dowdle, that's 11.22 with the boost, and I'm betting that as we speak. So give me Dowdle and Boutte, 2-leg touchdown parlay, plus 11.22 with the FanDuel 30% boost. Give me all of that. That's the use of the FanDuel boost right there. Boom. Dowdle, Boutte. I'm locked and loaded. Not betting on the computer just because I always have location problems on this laptop when I stream, which is just mad annoying. So I gotta go on my phone here, which is fine. So just give me a second here because I write everything down that we play. Boutte and Dowdle. Boom, 2-legger, 11.22. So that's massive. We're gonna definitely look for some first touchdowns and some more straights, build out some more parlays, and go from there. But the EV screen here, Booty showing, Born, excuse me, showing some value for tonight. Let's look at this because this could actually be very good as well. 125 at Betway, but nothing from Circa, which is like kind of annoying. I think there's just with the injury stuff, they're being a bit cautious with their numbers. We can press play here and see what anything else pops up. And let's go to game lines and see what we get here. Jalen Noel is still flashing for tomorrow night, which honestly might just be worth it there. Okay, so pause here. Tampa, this is for second half, which I don't like to bet. Arizona first quarter, just missed some steam on Fields rushing yards. Over or under, brother? I'm curious, just from like a matchup perspective. Like, obviously, if we miss the steam, we miss the boat. It's all in the game there. But I am curious if which way the market went there, because I could definitely see it going toward the over, considering the way I think this game could play out. But I wouldn't be shocked if it did go under. But I would, like, if I had to guess, it was over, and there we go, confirmed to the over. That makes sense, and hopefully good for my under. Rushing teams, bad defenses. I think that they're both going to just hand the ball off. But I think there will be enough room for Tet to get some touches and then pump it to the rookie wide receiver in the end zone, in the red zone, and jumped 4 yards. So worth noting. Some alternate totals. KC down to 120 at Hard Rock. I mean, Hard Rock obviously not widely available per se, but bet 99, Ontario, actually the best number there, 115. Chiefs struggle to win by margin, so I understand that. But second half, Vikings plus 114 at bet openly, but only $50 liquidity. Seattle third Q, that's for tomorrow. Some Arizona love. Denver first half minus 4.5. I actually really like from like just like a ball perspective. It looks like a jump to 112 though quickly. Even money here at Bovada, and plus 106 actually at Profit X. I'm intrigued by this because I think the Giants are kind of overvalued, even though they're getting 7.5 points. I talked about this all week. I don't think the Giants are like there yet to where they deserve like the respect they're somewhat getting. I know it's the travel situation with the Broncos coming back from overseas, and don't get me wrong, I know that Bo Nix is absolute dog water. I talked about this all week long, but I do think that Denver is still getting a bit disrespected. Looks like the Jags are driving, boys. We've jumped that. We live bet that ETN anytime tutty, so hopefully we do get that on this drive. Saw some EV there, some alternate spreads popping up at Caesars for some EV. 170 at 18.5. Let's see if this is still there at Caesars. Jamar Chase, this number is moved from a couple days ago. Let's see. 21.5. What were we looking for here? It looks like it's gone. Unfortunately, some backup PTO, but 17.5. Rams minus. Yeah, we're not even seeing it here. So that's long gone. Not quick enough for the draw there. All right, let's go back to the odds screen. Let's find some stuff. Another defensive holding. Jaguars getting free first downs. Looks like Goodell picked up the phone and was like, hey, guys, this London game can't be a blowout. We need this game to be closer. Start calling some stuff on the Rams, though. I'm not watching, so maybe it was an egregious clear hold, but I'm obviously fucking around. Eagles-Vikings. I like the Vikings. I haven't bet them, and I'm not going to bet them at this close to game time, barring like catching a quick steam move. But I do like the Vikings, and I do like myself a lot of Jettas. Let's see what some first touchdowns are here, because we definitely want to be betting some first touchdowns for the fun of the slate. We've been great on them this season, but we're not getting as much value as I'd like, though it's not surprising. But if AJB is like 10-1, he is. I like this a lot. I know that he's not been getting in the mix. I know that Flores' defense is great. I know on the road, obviously, for Philly is going to be tough, but you're giving me Arthur Brown at 12-1, a wide receiver 1 at 12-1 is also like elite, regardless of like the nonsense surrounding him and his like unhappiness with the current situation. I'm all over this. I'm betting this right now. AJB first touchdown. NFL, I'm on DK. We have, again, some boosts to use. We have a 20% boost to use. And a TD score boost to use. I'm not using this on AJB right now. We'll absolutely be using that, but I'm betting this Brown first touchdown, 12-1. It's good to circa as we see. I'm in. AJB 12-1 first touchdown. Locked and loaded. So we're rooting for Arthur Brown. I think the Vikings should win. I haven't bet them yet, so I'm not going to be betting them. So take this all with a bit of grain of salt here. But give me AJ Brown first touchdown. Locked in. Let's get it. So I'm interested in Brown stuff just because like the Vikings can get beat in the air. I know Florida's going to be like blitzing the hell out of them. The cat's out of the bag with Jalen Hurts. Like if you play him with more of like a zone defense, you're going to have much more success than playing like one-on-ones, which he's had some success with down the field to Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. 59.5. It's bookmakers the best price. FanDuel's as high as 112 here for 61.5. Maybe I'm dumb for not being able to quit AJB, man, and this Birds offense, but I'm still interested. First touchdown's the most intriguing thing, though, don't get me wrong. With that being said, let's flip on over to receptions. So I like Hawk, and I talked about this on stream on Friday. That's Jetta's. I want Hawk. Jetta's 5.5, heavily juiced to the over. Unsurprisingly, I like Hawkinson. See where the market's at. 108 at Bookmaker. 115, 112 here at DK. So I would bet this 112. Circa not having a receptions line is understandable, but we know how Carson Wentz likes to target his tight ends, and Hawkinson is obviously still the guy there, and he's gone over this number, I think, all season long, which isn't necessarily, you know, like a something like to like hang the hat on and make a bet based off of. But I am interested in some Hawk. I got it at 105 earlier this week, but definitely give me some TJ Hawkinson over receptions. I think that this 112 here is worth betting. If you have a bookmaker, 108 is definitely worth betting. But for everybody who doesn't, give him that. And it looks like the Jaguars turned it over. So Rams ball. Unfortunately, we're going to have to sweat more for this Kyron Tutty. Excuse me, the ETN Tutty. Let's look at the spread here. I think it's back to 2. Got the 1.5 for a bit. But I do think that the Vikings are live. We're seeing some 2.5 now. Novig, of course, dominating, best price, 3.2K of liquidity. So if you are going to bet the Vikings, 2.5 at Novig is the place to do so. Can't say like undecided because it's not like I'm going to switch my opinion this close to game time. Whether I'm probably not betting it now because the market has gone the other way a bit. And though it is still the best price, I'm talking about game lines 2 hours before first kick. So you guys should know the drill by now that that's not the best way to go about, you know, trying to find value in the NFL or any sport really that has sharp, efficient game lines like major sports do. But Colts Chargers, I saw some EV earlier on Keenan Allen touchdown. I've been talking all week how I think Ladd is now more in a prime position to score. Like, yes, Keenan was dominating like the red zone target share and the target share overall, but the odds are the odds, and Keenan showed me a lot more value because he was like 210. Let's see if that's still sticky here. Where do you go? Keenan Allen dropped to 195 at MGM, which I still do like. But let's go to Ladd and see what Ladd is at now, because like it's like a who's who at this point. I also bet the Colts. I want to make that clear. I bet the Colts money line. Doesn't mean I can't find value on a touchdown elsewhere. But with Ladd being 185 at circa, 192 a profit, which is the best price there, it's Keenan Allen for me from a pricing perspective. I get why Ladd is getting the love that he's deserved, and maybe first is the way to go here. This 12-1 at ESPN is like so intriguing. We've cashed at that same odds for Ladd earlier. Ramondre or Travion anytime TD? Let's look at the price. I bet a Travion Henderson under for rushing yards, though obviously that doesn't mean he can't score a touchdown, but this is going to be like an odds play for me. I'm guessing Travion is getting like much worse odds in the sense where, like, from a betting perspective, like more better odds than you'd like. Let's go to anytime here. Let's look at Travion Henderson. He is okay, plus 160, 92 at Profit X, so best price in market there. I was expecting a bit worse, just like curiosity or without like any context, I would have just guessed worse. Ramondre though is 130 at ESPN. That's the best price here. Nothing at Circa. I don't know, because I saw some reports from Patriots camp talking about like the running back coach, how they do believe that he is like far, or Travion is like, going to be more involved. They like where he's coming from as like a, young rookie running back. They like his progression. They've been taking him slower to progress. Maybe we see some like odds movement here at Penny. This was 113 negative odds, but has been creeping up to the other direction here. The plus money for Ramondre. So maybe that is some love for Travion. Let's see here. 160, of course. So, like, again, worse odds. This is also junk, but it has been bet back down this morning. I think it's a Travion for you, Biz, honestly. Ramondre or Travion? I think it's a Travion. But with that being said, like I said, I did bet some Travion under rushing yards, but this number I think has moved. Let's see what it's at now. 35.5. Yeah, I got this at 39.5. So let's see, what's Circa at? Because does Circa have any price on it? They are not even trying to price Travion versus Ramondre, which is understandable. They pick and choose their battles there big time. But I still think Travion unders are very live for today. I don't know that I guess the thought process would be like they're blowing out the Titans and they give the rookie running back some love late in the game. I don't know if he's going to be like dominating for like the entirety of the game there. Let's look at some first touchdowns here. Travion, not sexy enough for me, to be honest with you. What's Booty? We bet Booty anytime, of course. ESPN 16-1. They have a lot of the time the best odds on first touchdowns. Market average moving there, 14-1. Diggs, of course, I think is playing. We established that earlier on Underdog. Let's see if Patrick Everson tweeted his sharp versus pros versus Joe's report from Prime. Let's see if he got that intel yet. Let's see. BetMGM, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Not seeing that yet, but we'll keep looking to see what the pros versus Joe's report from Prime Sportsbook looks like for this one. It has been like profitable for the pro side, which again, like they actually are taking pro action. So it's worth noting. Obviously, at what price is the question? The price is the most important thing to look for when it comes to those situations and to those tweets and to like what to tail per se. The price rules everything in sports betting, if you guys should know this by now. But with that being said, there could still be some spots. So we won't discount the possibility that there are spots to take advantage of. That is definitely potentially on the bingo card here. But let me try to find some more first touchdowns. When there's buys like this, I know there's only two teams on buys. We have the two Monday night games. The slate seems so small, and I know that that's like always the case because NFL, there's only so many teams, and it's all on Sunday mostly. So that's how it goes. Davante Adams, 7 targets, but not putting up a massive receiving game, which is understandable. They've just had so much difficulty this season, like connecting on a bunch of stuff, which is unfortunate, but all in the game. All in the game. Okay, so you have a first tutty there. I want to look at the Dylan Sampson stuff again. The odds have moved a bunch. Like again, the total is so low. So really not expecting like a ton of scoring and like who is going to be scoring. Though this Isaiah Bond with the win, 25-1. He's been getting a bunch of targets. I'm curious to pull up with FTN. Let's pull up some of the numbers for Bond with Dylan Gabriel. So that's really been what, weeks 5 and 6, because I know Bond has kind of like burst on the scene a bit with the rookie connection there. Let's pull up Dylan Gabriel and see what he's done with Bond. Targets. Judy's still leading, though not connecting. 38.9% catch percentage. And we see Gabriel often like overthrowing or underthrowing Judy, who's open. Njoku, bit of a revival, though again, short yardage stuff, not really necessarily anything too good. Harold Fannin, dog, and then it's Isaiah Bond. What's his routes run, though? That's, of course, more important here to see how much usage he's been getting. So he's on the field, he's running routes. 87.1%. Dolphins defense is bad. This is just weeks 5 and 6, of course, isolating Gabriel. This is interesting to me. Let's go back to base and let's see the red zone stuff. I know it's very it could very simply just be again like a Samson or a even Jerome Ford, obviously Quinshon Judkins from a rushing perspective. But let's look at the rushing stuff on the red zone. Like, yeah, it's Judkins. But I did see some EV4. I'll check Judkins' first touchdown. Let's go back to PTO here. But I'm interested in Bond first touchdown. I'm not going to lie. He is getting so much of the love. Where's Judkins? Yeah, he's just priced as WR, as excuse me, as an RB1, which he absolutely is. He's a freaking dog. There's any time, yeah, 125. Caesar's price gouging at 150. What's Bond anytime? Though I think I prefer first. Not gonna lie to you guys. Anytime is 475 a profit. He's getting so much love. Let's see. I'm gonna do it like a weather report quickly here. Switch back to X in a second. Weather in Cleveland. There's an account. Is it hoodie weather in Cleveland? Feel like it probably is for like almost the entire year, but maybe that account is the best place to go there. The Gamblers Gazette, again, don't know how sharp this is, but the National Weather Service has officially issued a wind advisory in Cleveland ahead of kickoff, warning of lingering 40-plus mile-per-hour gusts and scattered thunderstorms into Sunday afternoon. Even if the advisory expires an hour before kickoff, the field will be soaked in the air, will be anything but friendly to football fields. So they have some model stuff I wouldn't recommend necessarily diving too deep into that, honestly. Maybe Underdog, let's see if they have anything going on. Renfro inactive, unsurprising. Diggs is in, as we know. Bowers inactive. Myers inactive. So you guys were already targeting some lower down the list. Receivers there. Buka might play. We'll deal with that Monday. Evans will play. Likely to play. That's nice. Just some data, any important stats, nothing that we haven't seen so far. I'm betting this Bond first touchdown. I don't know if that's like a little bit ridiculous based on the odds of everybody. Like we can obviously look at some Dolphins, which we'll quickly do here, like HN. I mean, HN's getting a 120. Like I know it's not that sexy. That is to me like intriguing. I was looking at receptions as well. Because like the dump off aspect, of course, he's going to be priced in the pretty high range here. 4.5, 101 at Novig, dominating best of market, only 233 of liquidity though, which is still solid for a running back reception prop. I'm definitely intrigued by HN with that number, but I also looked at Judkins. I was curious about his receiving yards. I know he hasn't been that focal point of the passing game, especially with Samson. This was much higher earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I'm a liar or not. Maybe not at FanDuel, but like MGM, I think it was like pretty crazy high. Yeah, we're seeing like 150, 175, 190. It was much higher. I wasn't, my eyes weren't deceiving me. Potential dump offs there, but the market has gone the other way. What's his receiving yards? Because I saw it at 10.5 on Friday. Let's see how it's moved. It's gone down to 9.5. 111 at FanDuel for 10 plus. I know, looking at the numbers right now on FTN, I'll switch back. Where are we looking for? Judkins. 3 targets only. Samson still getting more targets there. But this actually at Bond is intriguing to me. We'll look at Judy as well because he's just getting like so many targets and there are just missing him on certain things. It hasn't been like the lost man. And again, I know the wind is bad, but I think that's what could be giving us some value on some things. Market wise, it's not looking so hot. But Bond, man, Bond is intriguing. Like, what's Waddle at this point too? Should be higher with the wind and everything. Honestly, I know he is WR1 there, but I don't love that from a pricing perspective. Like Washington is a short guy, but 28-1 at Circa is not giving us value. But if I was in a Circa state, I would honestly bet some Malik Washington. And going back to our guy Isaiah Bond, this has jumped up. This wasn't 17-1. Oh, it was. I think this was higher. Honestly, did this? Yeah, it was 25-1. So now at 20-1, it's less sexy. Looks like we missed a bit of a boat there. That's what I get for being indecisive and yapping, unfortunately. But I'm keeping my eye on Bond for our first touchdown in that ugly game. The only first touchdown we locked in is Arthur Brown Jr. in Eagles Vikings. Bears Chiefs, not sexy. Saints Bears. We like some Swift touchdown, Rattler touchdown. I think it's a great bet to make. Patriots Titans. We haven't locked anything in, and kind of crazy. That's it for the 1 p.m. slate. Like, I know this isn't breaking news because we know what's going on. Let's go back to the EV screen and let's see if we find just rogue numbers right now that are popping up and where we can capitalize on with some injury news. Jaguars are looking to cross midfield, as I'm sure you guys are watching here. These are the default EV calcs. Let me go to my NFL TDs, which is all props for NFL, my custom filter that I made. I also have a YouTube video about these filters. So head on over to Echo BetSmart on YouTube and hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Definitely have some guys on YouTube, the usual suspects who are always here, which I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Hit that like button for the boys. We got the weather indicator here. Pretty light rain, 21.9 miles per hour, patchy rain nearby. So as the course of the game goes on, it looks like the weather is going to get better, but the wind, of course, is the predominant factor that should affect the game, especially from a throwing perspective. Good to know. Achane rush attempts. I'm intrigued a bit, but this number has just gone up, and like, I don't know how, like, with the wind, I don't know how, like, they can continue to just like run Achane to a wall, which like I would anticipate there being a wall basically because of how good the Browns defense is and how Miami's run game has struggled like big time, honestly. So I think that number's a bit off. It's just already gone there. Let me pause so we can just, talk about some things. And shout out to everybody who liked. I just saw the likes go up on YouTube. You guys are amazing. Seeing not a ton of EV, of course, because we're this close to game time, so unsurprising. Jags putting the drive together. It looks like we need that ETN. Tutty, we need that. Bet it live. We got some good value at the time. Of course, that's definitely shifted, but see if we can get an ETN Tutty. Still seeing a lot of the same things here from before. This Chris Moore is still intriguing to me at 310 with Washington's receiver woes and how bad the offense is. Appreciate the content. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you hopping in. Really do. Shout out. We have 17 more weeks of football, of course, with NBA coming up too. Content train is rolling, streaming 5x a week here, which is soon going to be 7x. So stay tuned, boys. Keep rocking. Dobbins under attempts. Interesting. I actually like this. ESPN, even money. Wish we were devigging from more books here. My mouse got stuck in some water here. Even money at ESPN. Unibet as well. 115 market average. 117 at Penny. 1K of liquidity. This is a good bet. The Kendre Miller touchdown we were looking at before. Could the Jags do something? Like, I don't care like that much, obviously, but like, yeah, we want to cash in on our ETN. This is a good bet. I know the Giants' run game is bad. Try to get rid of this. ESPN is so slow to load. Such a bad interface, in my opinion. From an EV perspective, I mean, we saw what? 2.5%. Best price in market, clearly. Penny's at 117, taking 1K of liquidity. I'm calling this a bet. Dobbins under. Taking a screenshot and keeping it in my files because this is a bet. We've talked about like everything that I bet so far. Of course, we're trying to find some more stuff. Did they just turn the ball over on downs again? The Jaguars? It looks like they did. Let me just go through the list of things I bet to make sure we talked about it. Jets under, Panthers. I mean, Jets, Panthers under 42. Indianapolis money line. Jetta's receiving yards. We've got some more stuff here that I'm already seeing. So I'm going down the list, and we're going to try to find some EV. Let's get back to PTO here. Too many tabs open with all the sports books. Turnover on downs again, man. The Jaguars are a laughing stock. Liam Cohen against his former boss. I thought he was supposed to be hyped for this one, but appreciate clearly, nonetheless, I should say, he's not built for this life. Probably should just bet this Noel at this point. Market's moving back and forth on him, and then again, I don't know how much I'm trusting the Seahawks excuse me, the Texans offense. But let's go back to the odds screen and let's go through some more things that I like that I bet. Back to the Bears game. I forgot I bet this, honestly. Have like 20 plus things pending as we try to do on EV Sundays, of course, and we're still finding more, which is the best part. But I like Zacchaeus. He had a couple of key drops last game, but this Saints defense is bad. And while I'm definitely not a fan of Caleb Williams, I'm definitely a fan of Ben Johnson. And this Zacchaeus Tutty 425, I actually got much worse odds. It was showing EV before, but that was when we weren't sure about Swift and DJ Moore. So like I tried to jump in on a good price based on injury, but then the injury news went against me, which is all in the game here. But this 425 for Zacchaeus at ESPN, I think is definitely a good price for Zacchaeus. I'm calling it out. I bet it at, you guys can laugh at me all you want. I tried to time the market, timed it poorly. I bet at 275, which is, embarrassing, but I botched because this is this is when the news came out that they were both questionable and like unlikely to play. First number was really off market, and then it jumped up when confirmations were in that like they were playing. So I don't think like I liked it from like a matchup perspective too. It wasn't just purely a market play. It was like a little bit of a mix of both. Market told me screw off because of the injury news, but I still think in the situation it is a good bet. So I like Zacchaeus. Anything else from this game? No, we have the Rattler touchdown, which we talked about. Rattler anytime, big fan. See if that has moved since we've been here. And the I like Kendre. It has moved a bit in the other direction. Let's go to Rattler, then Kendre. We'll check them out for both of them. The 7-1 is still there. I bet we bet this earlier on stream. If you guys were here, shout out if you guys are just hopping in. I love that. Kendre 375 at ESPN. We saw that before. I still like this Kendre as well. So getting in the weeds for this one. None of the Romes of the world, none of the AKs of the world. We're going Rattler, Zacchaeus, Kendre Miller touchdowns for this Bears Saints game. So going deep into the bag there. Deep in the bag. Chargers Colts. I bet some QJ fades. We were talking about some touchdowns. I bet Keenan anytime. We're going to look for potentially a first touchdown here. The Colts are obviously live. I also bet Daniel Jones under passing touchdowns. We can go to that, but I want to look up QJ first. I bet QJ under receptions. I know he's a dog. Obviously, he's been injured for a little bit here. He's back in the fold. But 4.5, this minus 105, 104 at Combi, 106 at Bookmaker. I got it at plus 117, so I did get some really good EV there. But I think that this is still absolutely live. I just don't think from like a matchup perspective that QJ is going to run wild. Now, I know Tre'Davious Ward, like he hurt himself in pregame, which was like, very unfortunate, obviously. He got decked by his own teammate. Now he's on the IR. So this Colts pass defense is not going to be looking so hot, unfortunately. But I think that, again, that's a Ladd and Keenan spot. And like QJ does get some yak stuff, but really is mostly like down the field. I think that QJ under receptions is great. And I bet that. So we're in on QJ under receptions for this one. Anything else here? No, but I am interested in some first touchdowns, though this is, potentially a very chalky first touchdown with Jonathan Taylor being on one side. I did not bet this, but I am curious the price, and you got to be cautious of this, or cognizant, I should say. But 450, nothing coming from Circa, but past TDs. Let's see, where's passing touchdowns? Passing TDs. I bet Jones under 1.5. It has moved a lot. Unfortunately, this was like minus 110 when I bet it at MGM, but I do think that Jones struggles in the passing game here. Not struggles per se, but I think that they're going to probably look to establish the run. And I do think that the Chargers lose. Like I do have the Colts money line as well, but I think it could be a JT game. The Chargers have done a pretty good job on the run, but we saw like Washington be able to abuse them. And now you're getting, JT, but also like a two-headed monster, or not the best way to put it, two-headed monster, but like DJ's like rushing ability obviously does have some impact onto the ability for them to run, similar to like Jaden Daniels' ability. that obviously like they're not in the same league in that sense for rushing, but it is still like a threat where they can't just, load a box to stop JT. There's obviously some good receivers on the Colts as well. But let's look at some first touchdowns and maybe look at some Colts here. Ashton Doolin, no. What is DJ at these days? 15 to 1, 18 to 1. Nothing from Circa. What's Pittman? 13 to 1 DK is interesting. Very interesting. AD Mitchell, we going back to the boy because what's his name's out? Josh Downs is out, if I'm not mistaken. Like I'm almost positive we can confirm that in one click here. Yeah, it's not showing up because he is out. I know he's out. Chargers side, I don't want to quit Lad, man. This 12 to 1 is interesting. Haven't bet it, but it is interesting. Let me go through everything that we've bet so far. Make sure we've talked about it and everything. Oh, I did bet another prop here. Forgot about this. I faded Tyler Warren. The Chargers have been really good against tight ends this season. And of course, there's another penalty on the freaking Jaguars here. But I bet Warren unders. I got it at 62.5. So we have seen the market go in my direction. I still think it's good here at this 108 at 58.5 at Caesars for Tyler Warren. Like I know he's a dog, but I think the way that the offense is going to go for the Colts, I don't expect them to have success in the passing game while winning this football game. I think it really is going to be like a JT turned it up kind of game. So under for Jones passing touchdowns, under for Warren receiving yards, Keenan Allen touchdown. All that to say, it looks like, oh, what do you think the Colts are going to lose? No, I think the Colts still win. But I do think that the way that they can win and the pricing of some of the props there were just like off market. And the way that the numbers have moved, I do feel pretty good about it. So that is all good stuff. But let's see if we can get some Jaguars Travis Etienne live because we bet that live about an hour ago at this point, and they're finally driving again to the red zone. We know it's been a bit of a journey for them down there. But let's see. We haven't talked Sunday yet, or Sunday night, I should say. I like the Falcons. Ineligible downfield pass, man. I can't with these Jaguars. They're just disgusting me. Wow. Odds have moved this morning. This was still plus money when I was looking at it earlier this morning, as we could see here. Let's zoom out a bit. Falcons still 102, which isn't, but look at how this has moved. This is October. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. Let's zoom out a bit. This was 2 days ago, 117 for the Falcons, 131, and then boom, 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 boom. We're up to 20 minutes ago, 2 hours ago. Falcons are getting hit. This is a potential wrong team favorite. Now, Kalshi, plus 105, best price here. Page not found. Interesting. I know Kalshi's been going through like a bunch of new things with their APIs, whatever. Kobe Turner with the sack. Unfortunate. Novig at 104. It's only 233 of liquidity. Profit X having more liquidity. I like ATL tonight. 105, 481 for 105. So this is actually the best price available. 104, 12K. So I feel comfortable, giving that out to the boys with the amount of liquidity in the market there. A 13-yard sack nonetheless. God damn, man. But I like the Falcons tonight. I think that is so fair. They are, I think at this point, like a good football team. Like, when you really don't necessarily know if a team is actually built like that or if they're not. I think they are. And I think that the Niners, their struggles in the passing game are really legitimate as a defense. And their offense, I think, is going to struggle if the Falcons continue to get a lot of pressure with the blitz, which they've done a great job of all year. They have of course, they have another sack, man. I get with these Jaguars. They're punting. The Jaguars are. I gotta stop here. Jaguars driving into the LA territory, getting to their 20, and then taking 2 sacks, and then now having to punt from the Rams 48. That is embarrassing. Obviously, what were they? 4th and 23. They couldn't go for it, but they're about to get shut out in LA. I mean, in London. And Goodell, man, he's got to make a call. He's got to say, We can't subject the London Knights. We already subjected them to the freaking Jets and Broncos last weekend. We can't do it again. Penalties, we need them on the Rams ASAP. We need the Jaguars to score. We gotta at least make this thing fun for the boys. Drake London anytime, I love. I talked about this all week. There's something to be said about a team that is capable of getting the best players the ball in their hands, and they pepper Drake London with targets because he's, of course, their second best player behind Bijan Robinson, who is the dog of the dog. But 165, love, absolutely love. Absolutely love. Let's see. We use the FanDuel 30% boost. So we're good on that. A reminder for people hopping in now, we use the 30% boost on a Rico Dowdle, Kayshon Boutte anytime touchdown parlay, and that those odds of the base was 864. It's still sitting around there, but that's 1122. We bet the Dowdle first touchdown at anytime touchdown, 135. We're out of boosts on FanDuel. Of course, if we find some straights, we'll use some straights for that. I also, again, I mentioned this earlier, I bet a parlay of Tet, Pickens, and London. It's 1829 right now. I got it at 1903 and 1759, so basically kind of like an average of both. That's like a three-legger that I love for today. Not going to be like a market best parlay, honestly. This is more of just like I'll call it as it is, like a me ball knowledge parlay there. But I think London, the way that he's getting targeted and the problems that the Niners secondary like really have that are legitimate, that is a great price. And I think that he's absolutely live to score. But we still have a 30%, or is it 30%? We still have a 33% boost on DraftKings for anytime touchdown and a parlay boost on DraftKings. So we'll definitely be utilizing that. And Caesars has an anytime touchdown parlay boost. I use that on Swift, Jettas, and CD. That was plus 911 pre-boost, 25% boost. So over 10-1 there. But those are the two parlay touchdown parlays I have for today. Again, they're fun bets. Actually, I have three now with the Dowdle Booty, but the three leggers. But now we have a straight to use on DraftKings and a three leg. Is it a 3 or 4 leg? It is a 3-leg parlay. Okay. What are they giving me for a max bet? So they're giving me a higher max bet on this. So we might not fish for the 10-1. We might just fish for a winner based on some of the EV stuff that we find at DK. And yeah, the Jaguars stink. This game is going to the fourth quarter soon. Let's see how this final drive kind of ends up here. Let's tune in. Jags 21. What the hell happened here? Oh, Rams punted already. Good for the Jags. Let's go to the play-by-play. I'm sure you guys are watching at home. We had a Corum 5-yard, Corum 1-yard, an incomplete, and a punt. Jaguars are doing everything they can to get the football. I shout to their defense, honestly. Obviously, they have 21 so far, but their offense can't do anything. So that's more of a product of their offense being incapable of getting anything going than anything that they're necessarily doing wrong here. Damn. All right, well, our ETN touchdown hopes are alive and well for that boost we took. I'm curious what his odds are now. We got it like 330 with the boost. But that was, again, in the second quarter. Now it's probably like 800 at ESPN. Yeah, bet that if you can quickly. 8-1 ESPN. I got to check if that's available. Still, 8-1. Look at the market average. 447. 5-1, 5-1. ESPN bet is so damn slow. Now I went to 750, but still compared to the market average, this is absolutely worth doubling down on if you are interested in tailing that there. We have a much worse price, but based on when we bet it, we got by far the best price in market with the boost, but 8-1 being undoubtedly pretty sexy there. So absolutely would bet that at that price at this point for the slate right now. All right, Jaguars football. Let's do it. We don't need anything other than an ETN touchdown. Like, clearly that's been difficult to achieve so far. But let's go back to the EV screen, see if anything flashes. If there's 3 DKs on here, honestly, might just throw them into that 30% boost and just know we're capitalizing on EV in the first place, compounding it with the boost and compounding it in a parlay. That could be a great use of it. And we have the touchdown boost, so we have ammo to work with here. We have bonus ammo to work with here that will help us make good bets. Oh, Brees just popped. Yeah, I'm betting it's gone already. We're late to the party. That wasn't a yapping fault. That was quite literally just short. What is it now? Probably even money. Maybe even 105 minus. Oh, it's still there. But where did the rest of the market go if that bet's no longer available? Oh, it's back. Yeah, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. Straight as well. I'm betting the straight and putting it. I'm not going to use the 30% boost on the parlay. Again, I love the under here. And yes, I have some other touchdowns, Tet and Rico, but I'm in on this. The 33% boost, like, it's for me, my max is $5, so I'm not doing anything there. But I'm adding Brees Hall to this slip. We're gonna have to build this out really quickly because that's gonna move. I would have to assume 105, 2.9%. It's already getting EV, and hopefully we're boosting with some other stuff. Dowdle is still there, unfortunately. So maybe it's not as good as it looked. Not seeing a lot of DK. Vidal receiving yards. Bam Knight. No, Vidal receiving yards, 13.5, 117 to Penny. I mean, I'm in on that as well. I'm going to put that in the lay. Let's go receiving props. Receiving yards over under. Kamani Vidal, 13.5. Okay, so that's 280. We only need one more leg for the 30% boost. We could just do something cheeky and just bet some like at like a chalky money line just to really capitalize on what we have already going on. Because I don't want this Brees to move on us, and we're, you know, every second counts here. We're trying to capitalize and compound some EV on DK right now. Bam Knight, I don't love that. AK anytime, done. Plus 190 EV. It's also worth a straight bet. That's 10. That's okay. Brings to 1203. I'm in. Brees anytime, Alvin anytime, Kamani Vidal over 13.5 receiving yards. That boosted is to plus 1203. All those legs have EV straight on them, as we saw, at least 1-2% on them as well. This Kamara and Hall are definitely worth betting straight as well. That was great work right there. That was quickly finding EV legs, putting them together and making sure the market doesn't move. Now we'll definitely be keeping up to date on if this stuff is moving. So I didn't end up betting the Kendre, and I'm not mad about it now that we're getting so much EV on Alvin. I bet it straight as well. So we have Brees Hall straight we just bet, Alvin straight we just bet, and also the three-legger of Alvin, Kamani Vidal, and Brees Hall touchdown. So just like that, that's how to use a boost with EV legs, like, quickly. And hopefully you guys were able to get in and use the boost as well. Obviously, it's a 3-leg parlay with 2 touchdown legs in it. So, you know, winning the bet is very different than finding value. But of course, we just found immense amounts of value. So that is all we can ask for here. So just got seeing a tweet here. Riley Patterson just tried a 45-yard field goal that missed by 20 yards. The wind is howling. That's a note on Cleveland, if you guys didn't pick up on that. But yes, the Browns' weather is as bad as anticipated. Looks like a Riley Patterson, like I just mentioned, tried a 45-yarder in pregame, which we know in pregame guys are hitting freaking 50 to 70 yarders, missed by 20 yards. I wish there was more detail about how the wind affected that. Now I'm also glad we didn't bet that Bond first touchdown, even though it was massive EV, because of you know, the passing game. Though Bond could potentially take like a little quick slant or an underneath route. He's a talented player, but glad we're gonna find some more first touchdowns and also use the 33% boost on DK for a touchdown. That is all the boosts we've used, and got freaking water on my desk. Get my mouse going. Making sure I've talked about everything that I bet so far. Obviously, I want to make sure we all get the best prices and can get in on stuff. Jets under check, Colts money line, Jefferson 79 plus receiving yards, Zacchaeus touchdown. I got a bad price, but I still love it. QJ under receptions, Hawk over receptions. Bill over rush yards. Love that. Daniel Jones under pass TDs. Hollywood receiving yards. I love. Travion Henderson rush yards under. Tet over receiving yards. Warren under receiving yards. Pickens over receiving yards. Like I said, I love all things Pickens. Have him in a touchdown parlay as well. Keenan Allen touchdown. Rattler touchdown. All that locked in. Some other stuff that I bet from a fun parlay perspective. We'll build another Cowboys parlay, honestly, because I think that game is going to be so much fun. But Bill 70+ rushing yards. Pickens 70+ receiving yards. Lamb anytime touchdown. Dallas money line. That's plus 1,800 at DraftKings. CD anytime touchdown. Jefferson anytime touchdown. Swift anytime touchdown. With the Caesars boost, that's over 10-1. I had a max of $5 there, so that is just some fun. We bet together Rico Dowdle anytime touchdown. Kayshon Boutte boosted to 11.22. You also bet AJ Brown first touchdown. Dobbins under rush attempts. Falcons money line. Dallas minus 1.5, minus 104 at Novig, and just checking to see if there's anything else I missed. We have the Tet Pickens London, so those are again guys we love, and now that's a lot of what we bet so far, boys. We have a loaded card today, which is always the move, trying to get some value. All of these bets have gotten some good line value, or a majority have. So now we've done our job as gamblers, and let's keep rocking here. The Rams got the ball back. What the hell happened? What the hell happened? Let's find out. I'm sure you guys already know. Trevor Lawrence, fumble, pick, punt. Incomplete, penalty, incomplete, punt. Now we have Kyron for 2, Whittington for 9. We're going to have to ice this one, obviously. But we see we have the report from Everson I love to look at from Prime Sportsbook, a sharp shop. Public, sharp, key needs, pros versus Joes, and more from Prime Sportsbook. Again, when these tweets come from MGM, DK, ESPN, they mean nothing. They don't take action. They don't take sharp action. Prime Sportsbook does. Let's see. Early in the week, numbers may be long gone. Again, I love how he tweets this because that's the most important part. Dolphins plus 3 at Browns. Titans plus 7.5. Broncos minus 6.5. Niners plus 1. So there was some Niners love early in the week. Fins, that 3 has been gone. Titans, that 7.5 has been gone. And Broncos at 6.5 has been gone. So those numbers are long gone. Biggest needs are Vikings, Giants, Cardinals, Bears. Okay, so we've seen those numbers move, albeit whether or not that was like sharp action per se, clearly not. Pros versus Joes, Falcons, Joes. So I guess I'm a Joe today. Niners, pros. The pros are on the Bucks, the lines are on the Joes, which to me is very interesting because the line has moved in the Lions' favor. And the Titans, the pros are on. Pros, Joes unite. Broncos, Seahawks, Saints, Dolphins. I wish DK still had like minus 120 teasers for 6 points because I would absolutely be teasing the Broncos and everything. I love the Broncos to win. They're 7.5 point favorites, so I'm not going out on a limb there. Interesting to note there. That is some interesting information. When using Outlier, do you use games without player when filtering? Yeah, absolutely. If there's a key injury, absolutely. For the obvious reasons, Biz, of course, like you need to know how roles are changing with people out, who is, replacing the target share, who's replacing the routes run. Is somebody moving to the slot? Is somebody moving to the outside? Who's getting the red zone targets in those games? Absolutely, Biz. It's definitely massive. Also, when we switch over to FTN a lot on these streams to look at some data, the same way we're filtering out weeks without players, it's the same concept. So we could have a better understanding of how the team is operating without a player, especially if they are a key player, or even if they're not. Because even if they're just a guy whose target share is low, but he's running a bunch of routes and he's out, somebody's going to pick up those routes run, and or somebody's going to pick up that target share for the guy who is being replaced. So absolutely in the NFL need to have an understanding and a way to project and, basically like compartmentalize game plans without certain players. Absolutely. Absolutely. So based on that tweet from Everson, I'm in on the Falcons already. Like they lose, they win, they win. I still think the Falcons are so alive. Like that one kind of blows my mind a bit. I think that's a little bit of a square thought because of like obviously thinking how the Niners have been, and they won a game, but how they've kind of been with their injuries and how the Falcons have, kind of been rallying off some impressive wins. I think that the Falcons are real though. And I do have a preseason bet on them to win the South. Obviously not looking like so great, but I think it is. I want to see if there's any entry point for the Denver Broncos. Like it's probably shot at this point. Like could do a square little money line lay, but like I guarantee like the Chiefs Broncos is probably a fucking minus 300 still around. Let's go to the spread here. Because again, the numbers have been moving. It says at this point they're getting some Giants 8.5 bets, which is obviously not the number we want to bet the other side at. It's gone, man. It's moved. I missed my boat, which I'm not crying over spilt milk, nor am I chasing anything. I just am at this point genuinely curious because I had talked Falcons all week. A 7.5 at 108, best price, but of course the key number is gone and the way the market has moved. I hate betting like a 7 when there was 6.5 all week, especially as a key number, of course. So in that regard in itself makes me, uninterested in betting that. But on the same note as well, like I also, like I said, like it's just like I missed the value already. I don't want to be chasing a number because when you're tailing or wanting to tail, the number that the person you got it are tailing, what they got it at is the important part, is what price did they bet that at. So definitely worth calling out. But again, like in this Titans game, it's like you could be like, oh, I believe that the sharp action is on, the Titans. It's 6.5. I want to be on that side. They bet the 7.5, and 7 being the key number in football, man, that game could very easily end at 7. And they all won. Everyone that you want to, be on the same side as, they won their bets, but then you would be a loser of those bets. So, oh my God, the Rams, they kicked no, T. Ferguson touchdown. I'm saying Terrence because I didn't know his name. Now I know Terrence Ferguson. The Rams, the way they spread the football around, it's sick, man. You definitely got to just give them like credit. Like it's so nice how they've been able to get the ball to Mumfield, who scored their touchdown. Tay's got 4 catches. Terrence Ferguson. Kyron's got 2 catches. Colby Parkinson, Tyler Higbee, Xavier Smith, Jordan Whittington, Davis Allen. Everybody's eating with Stafford. Doing a great job. All right, let's reconvene here. We have 33% touchdown boost on DK, and we only have 1 first touchdown bet. I think for the remainder, of course, we'll check the EV screens, see if we can find a quick ARB. We'll pull up the ARB screen while I, log back into the accounts to get ready to fire. And we will look for some final first TDs, and we will look for a good touchdown to use on the boost. It could be on the first touchdown. We shall see. If anybody has any boosts on any other books that I'm missing, gladly to call out stuff. If you guys have a player you want me to look into, a matchup to break down, just my thoughts on, which I've done all week, but glad to give you guys what you're looking for. Field goal made. Free 16s here. 365 in DK. I would have to assume DK is willing to take 146 on a 125 here for an ARB. Obviously, if 365 would take $100 is TBD, but it is a plus 163. Obviously, an obscure market. I'm gonna. I don't have 365, unfortunately. We got the free money with the Whittington. Not the Whittington. The Robinson longest reception earlier, so that was a free ARB. But there's another one right here. $16.89. So hopefully you guys can get in. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to lock that in. And let me know if you guys do get in. Like I'm sure some people don't have 365, or if you do, you might be limited. Same with DK, unfortunately. But if you aren't, obviously be a little bit if you're never betting $100 ever and you're trying to just get $100 in this market, that might like raise some flags to your account, which is never a good thing. So you got to make sure that maybe you do bet maybe bet a Packers, Chiefs, Broncos parlay for 5 of the 16s you would win if you can get down just to like throw some cents off. Or we bet a couple of touchdown parlays, maybe take one of those on 365 just again to keep your account in check. This is part of the game of betting that you guys have to, do. I'm not trying to tell you guys to like donate money to the sports books. That's never fun nor the idea. But with that being said, you do have to do some of these things for the account longevity. Maybe bet frickin', I don't know, bet a Jacobs actually might be out. Maybe bet a Saquon parlay with Vladdy Guerrero home run tonight, even though I'm rooting for the Mariners. That being said, I can definitely take a quick look at some MLB. I don't know how many people are. I mean, it's the ALCS game freaking 6. If you're not a sports fan, if you don't have at least some interest in a game 6 elimination game to go to the World Series against two great MLB teams. If you guys are real sports fans, which I assume most of you are, you guys have to be at least somewhat intrigued by what's going down in Toronto this night, later tonight. But we went through everything. I feel like there's a game we haven't really touched. It really is Packers Cardinals. Brissett playing. Jacobs might not. The odds already for Emmanuel Wilson have kind of adjusted, so not like there is like value per se in that situation. But with that being said, this is a game I haven't like really looked into at all this week with all the injury information, big spread. Don't have any really strong thoughts, honestly. We can see if we can find some like quick EV, though the EV screen hasn't flashed for this game really whatsoever. And the injury stuff is already gone. Also with Monday stuff you haven't talked about. With that being said, I stream every Monday, so I'll be streaming tomorrow. And with the games being at 7 and 10 tomorrow, I'll be streaming to definitely capture value in both of those games. 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. If anything pops that we love for now, though, I definitely do think I like the Buccaneers, even though I'm seeing it's the pro side. Maybe we have to get in on that now. Let's see if anything's popping here. We'll go game lines first. We'll use the boost as well. We'll do EV for game lines, EV for props. Then we'll finalize our boost, and ideally we do that in the same sitting. Another sack. Trevor Lawrence 6 sacks, man. He is dog. Seeing a lot of live EV for this game, so get your sportsbooks loaded and ready to go. Travis Hunter, 18-yard catch. Let's get an ETN touchdown and make our lives give us some profit for this game. Arizona plus 2.5 alternate spread. No, thank you, but I understand it. Seeing it as well here. The Niners first quarter money line. Oh, that moved already. I guess it did. It just showed up, but we're on pause. So I could have moved in like literally a second, which is possible. That Dowdle is still there. Oh no, it's still there. I clicked on the wrong one. Dowdle actually moved against us. Something's happening here. Something is happening here. I'm looking at Atlanta. That's why I'm like, what the hell is going on? But still here. I'm betting this. I'm betting this. Niners first quarter. I'm seeing 4.6% EV. I am betting that. Yeah, I have the Falcons money line already, but with that being said, that was more of like a ball play, but this is just straight market EV. Quarters. That's props. I don't want props. Scoring. Where the hell is it? Manually having to find it here though, because it's freaking doesn't work on my location is always messed up. Where the hell is this? Quarter. These are quick bets. It's trying to move on me. Everyone's gonna get in except for me, which I care more about you guys getting in, honestly. Where the hell is this? I've never really used the FanDuel search feature because I just click buttons on PTO and it pulls up what I'm looking for. First quarter winner. Niners first quarter. I'm in plus 106. Boom. 4.6% EV to bookmaker penny everywhere. I know FanDuel again is like relatively sharper in some of these things, but Yeah, I have the Falcons money line. Doesn't mean they can't lose the first quarter. Niners first quarter, it is at home. Kyle Shanahan. Boom. Derivative market doesn't matter to us because we're not doing anything but hunting value. And we just found. So 4.6% EV on the first quarter. Game line. Love that. Keep looking through here. 12-18. So we still got some time. Got the Jaguars up on real to my left. Hunter. First touchdown catch for Travis Hunter. So our ETN hopes are probably dead. But Travis Hunter, it is. First career tutty for the Rook. I love that. How can you not be happy for Travis Hunter? That kid's a freaking dog. We know he's the unicorn. We know Trevor Lawrence. He unfortunately has to play football with Trevor Lawrence, which is not fun in the year 2025, as we could tell. Though, of course, we know he's been getting screwed a bit with drops from BTJ and like the overall receiving core. The O-line not doing him any favors as well either. But Travis Hunter, 34 yards, best game of his career, 85 yards. Trevor Lawrence flying over his passing prop. Of course, garbage time helping out. 6 catches, 1 tutty, 85 yards for Travis Hunter. Let the boy cook. Let's go another EV run, and we'll finalize some first tutties and this DraftKings boost. This Bijan has been sitting here, but it's only at Hard Rock. This McCaffrey over at Hard Rock is sexy. I definitely would bet this at 145. Obviously, McCaffrey doesn't get a ton of usage, but we know what's good with Washington's wide receiver core. It is not looking so hot. So the fact that he is definitely, anticipated to get a much bigger role, though how much bigger is the question. With no Debo. We've seen him without Terry, of course. We haven't seen him without Debo as well. And McCaffrey is clearly in favor. Doing a lot from a playmaking perspective. Rec yards as well, 39.5. We know he's liable to do that in one catch down the field, so definitely interesting as well. Jalen Noel still flashing. Jetta's under showing up now at Profit X. 119, circa at 110. I have Jetta's over, so I'm not going to be dabbling, but I can see that. Judkins under receptions, 115 is honestly intriguing. Like, very intriguing. Fields over rushing. Foss called this out earlier. This was a steam move. I don't know where it started at, honestly, but seeing some values of Kalshi and Circa for Fields is over in a game where I do expect there to be a heavy rush at 365, though. Profit X at 111. Jaguars on side. Let's see. No shot they get it these days. You got to declare Zacchaeus reception unders. I have his touchdown at a bad price. What are you going to do? I tried to jump the injury news gun, but got screwed. So we're seeing a lot of the usual suspects here, not a ton of EV. Deeper down the board here. All right, so let's find some first tutties and a touchdown boost to use. For the ones, we have AJB. That's all we have so far. We're going to do Jets Panthers, low total. We have some touchdown props in this one because we have Tet, we have Rico with EV, we have Breece Hall, all bets that got EV or have EV compared to the market there. Check it first. I don't anticipate this game being like a total slog fest of like 0 points scored. I mean, the total's still 42 or 41. See if that Hall moved and we did get some value. This Hall first touchdown could definitely be interesting as well. Though I know he hasn't been doing a great job for the scoring department, but he's still a freaking dog. And the Panthers' run defense has been much improved. Oh, it went even up to 110. Still 105 at Circa, so I'm not mad about our 105 because we did also boost it. So we're definitely some value there. But what's his first? Yeah. It's shot. What's Tet? 10-1 Circa. Not a game where I'm dying. We could what's his name? Mason Taylor. 13-1 DK, 14-1 ESPN. That is honestly more intriguing. He is a high target guy. Panthers defense against tight ends has been bad for the last 2 years, realistically, against tight ends. So that is honestly something that's very intriguing. Okay. Maybe it's a Mason Taylor spot. We'll keep searching. Don't need to force any first touchdowns. We're doing this for fun. Like Rico's probably 8-1 there, which is interesting. What's Chuba? 1150, 1220. ESPN often having the best odds here for first touchdowns. Again, no, not the sharpest shop, and I'm sure a lot of people are limited there already. But if you're not, and even if you are, you're still talking about a first touchdown bet. Patriots Titans, we have some booty anytime. ESPN still best price for first. Better than Circa, which is always nice. What's May? 16-1, but like a little bit better. Obviously, it's good to market. What's Henry? Would like better, of course. Hooper, any backup TE options here? They're 35-1 all across the board. The markets, these teams have been so much better to Circa over the past 4 or 5 weeks I've talked about. Tajay Spears, 18-1. I would like better, even though he's gotten some good usage since coming back off the IR. Could definitely use a 33% boost on a first tutty as well, if that's where we want to go with it. Dolphins, Browns. Let me check back on Isaiah Bond. I know the wind is crazy. I don't want nothing to do with it, but maybe he did like push it back to like the 30-1 range. Nah, this is 25-1. Snoozed, we lose. we had a lot of value there, even though again it's like a tough situation. Judkins, no shot. Such a small slate. It's like, it's understandable, of course, it's how it goes, because 4 p.m.s we have 3 games only. 4 games, this is why. Okay, then of course 2 Monday nighters. Kyron Russian. Rams definitely liable to score again, but they definitely will take 3, of course, if they get stifled. The Rams are freaking dogging them. We'll stay on till the end of this game because we'll see how it goes. We still hunted for that last minute, hopefully ETN tutty, but unlikely realistically. Raiders Chiefs, tough. Saints Bears first, like 12-1 for AK. I honestly like. We have the AK touchdown. Rattler first. I mean, we have the anytime. Did that move at all? No, it's still 7-1. DraftKings went to meet them up there, but I still feel good about that. Now Corum's in the game. They're just running. Obviously, Jaguars still have all 3 timeouts, but this game is all but over, as we know. What's Rome? Not sexy enough for me. Swift is not going to be sexy enough at all. Just a tough slate for these fun ones. We can, of course, go out on limbs and do some crazy stuff, but like that's not the goal. With that being said, Lamb at 9-1. Yeah, done. I'm boosting Lamb. Like I don't need to see much else. Like I'll pick Check Pickens. 11-1. I have them both anytime. Like I really think it's like an either or situation. I think they both score. I think they're both liable for 2 each, maybe even. Let's see what's Dave Portnoy's parlay for this game. It's got Jaden 2+ passing tutties in it. Not that that matters, of course. I'm just messing and looking around here. CD 1197 with the boost. Let's go back to that because I think it might just be like enough said, honestly, for me. Like clearly best in market. A lot of action to the no on Kalshi. Did we forget how good CD Lamb is and how bad Washington secondary is? Like I know Lattimore has been a bit better. I know they've done like a better job on WR1s. Like not like Odunze turned up on them, though that's Caleb Williams throwing them the football and not Dak, who's on one. What's my max boost for this? Is $5. Yeah, I'm boosted to CD 1197. CD Lamb first touchdown. Only giving us 1 first tutty for the early slate. I'll find one more just because I want to sweat one. If we get a good price, of course, is the move. But with that being said, you know that we're betting first touchdowns. We've hit a bunch of them this year, which has been great. So we're in it here. We're in it. CD first tutty. Travis Hunter. I'm getting because I called him out on stream on Wednesday. Because Wednesday stream, I will go through every single game of the slate and talk like first looks at touchdown stuff and like things that we like. But I didn't end up pulling trigger on Travis, so I'm definitely not victory lapping that, though I did think that the rookie was making his first end zone appearance. I did call that out, but didn't bet it, so who the hell cares? Absolutely not me. And a face mask on the Jags. They were going to give some more time to Tay, but unfortunately not. CeeDee Lamb first touchdown with the boost, and I think that's all the use of boosts for today. I'm just going through. We bet all the boosts that we have available to us on Caesars, DK, and FD. I had a 20% 5-leg parlay boost for the Niners Falcons tonight. 5-leg lay, like, no thank you. I'm sure there could be some EV to be found, but no thank you. Gone through every game a few times here. We're just hoping now that ETN can backdoor us. Looks like the Jags, the Rams. I don't know, they scored earlier in this quarter. I was going to say, did they already score again? No, but they're in the red zone, and it looks like the Blake Corum show now. So, Kyron betters, sorry for the sweat there, because it looks like Corum might snag it, though. Corum has 12 freaking carries today, so it's not like Kyron has been the lead back. Is he out snapping? I think he definitely is. Kyron has 12 carries. Corum has 12 now, so like garbage time too. They're giving it to the kid, which is annoying if you're a Kyron guy. But at this point, like, why would they take Corum off the field? I don't think they would or will, honestly. It's the Corum show at this point. Jaguars burning their timeouts. And again, hopefully an ETN just backdoor for the boys there. We looked at all the odds for like first touchdowns and everything here. Like, there's really just nothing that's sticking out to me. Like, this is really at this point more for like the sweat. Can definitely dig into like a Cowboys commies anytime. Cowboys minus a half at 118. We bet the 1.5. Let's see what the -1 is. Not even showcasing in most places. And the 1.5. We got it at 104. Not to 103, but only $51 of liquidity. So the 104 was fair to give out. Stafford going to throw the football. Who are you throwing it to, man? To Ferguson again. They're trying to get the boy a 2-tutty game. Speaking of 2 tutties, again, I think Lamb and Pickens, like, it's square to say, like, I think they're both capable of scoring 2 in the same game. Would obviously be freaking nutty. But with that being said, there is a duo for it, and there's a roughing the passer on the Jags. Please, I mean, I don't really care, honestly. We just have ETN to maybe get a garbage time score on the back end there. That's just so funny, man. If you guys are watching, I'm sure, let me know if that was egregious or not. I don't know, but 850 FanDuel, 2+ for Lamb. What's Bill 2+? 550. I don't know, man. Like, I could see it being plausible. I really can. What's Ertz? Yeah, like, that needs to be better. That needs to be freaking better, honestly. Let me guess. Blake Corum rushing touchdown. I'm going to go on a limb and say the guy they've been handing it to all freaking drive. Hey, they gave Tay the 3-piece, man. They gave Tay the 3-piece. Why wouldn't they? Tay was like -120 to score, which I thought was a bit egregious considering they're giving him like the Puka odds, but the man put up 3. So if you're a Tay backer today or a fantasy manager with Davante Adams on your team, good for you, boys. Shout out to you guys. Three-piece for Tay. Good for him, man. Love Davante Adams. But we're picking this 2+. Like, this being 12 to 1 at ESPN is honestly so sexy to me. I know it seems so square considering like what he's been doing. I know Lamb is back, but I don't see how this is a situation where like the guy who's been carrying their entire freaking team and is an absolute dog is just getting like thrown to the wayside, even though like Lamb, of course, being back and being the alpha, like, don't get me wrong, facts are facts, and that's the truth there. But 12 to 1. ESPN. I'll go back to that because again, like, I'm not dying to bet that. This is just like a final run through. We're hoping that ETN we'll sit through this Jaguars drive together and then go on with our freaking Sundays and hopefully cash some bets. We have a ton of shit that we've taken today. Ton of shit's not the right word, but a ton of EV. We have so much So many props played today, all with EV. I would say 80% have gotten numbers moving in our favor, which is like all we can ask for realistically. Like that's what we do as gamblers is get the best prices and go from there. Imagine like a parlay of Tay 2+ TDs but under receiving yards. I would have freaking smacked for a reverse correlation parlay. I'm doing TD props that are plus EV via Ally. I've had success so far. My best win today was Firemouth at 7-1. I love that, bro. That's awesome. Like if you're devigging from the right books and you're finding the right prices, you're going to win long term. Like obviously TD markets are a bit unique in the sense where they are one way at most shops and they already have a lot of the vig baked in. But with that being said, like you're still using the market in the right places to make your bets. So shout out to you, Mr. L. I'm glad you're finding success with that. And you cashed it on the touchdown stuff on Thursday, the tight end touchdown palooza. It was tight ends and chalk, tight ends and T and freaking and Jamar. So no, that's awesome, bro. I'm glad you're having success with that. That's really great. We bet the CD first with the boost. So we're at a boost at this point. Like, I wish Tet was better for first. I really do. Though, like Dolphins, Browns, like the total is, I get that it makes sense for Judkins to be so juiced and even Echan, but the total is so damn low. Like, I'd still want it to be better or expect it to be better. Echan getting up to 35, though, to me is a little bit crazy. They're handing ETN break one. Just break one. I've seen you break them this season. Just break one. Go. I mean, 7 yards. We don't care about a win or anything like that. We just care about an ETN garbage time tutty. In the wins. Raiders Chiefs. Again, I've been all over Hollywood. So like maybe we do just stick with the Hollywood there. Though again, there's no need to be betting anything, honestly, with this at this point, because we're doing it for, again, the fun. Like it's just like I only have one first touchdown pending on the 1 p.m. slate. Like what am I doing? Sports Zeno, crazy price there for Hollywood. If I had that book, I'd be betting on my boy there. Saints, Bears, Patriots, Titans. Like we have the booty anytime. What's Diggs at this point? Diggs at 9-1 is like somewhat interesting, honestly. The connection is there. I know the chest injury, but he is playing. And we already looked at some of these guys. Like, we haven't looked at like Titans. We've kind of been looking at like some of the more favored teams overall. But like, who on the Titans are we like trusting? And then especially at these prices. And that's really the point of it all is the pricing. Okay, let's see if the Jags, they're going to make this drive last forever. Johnny Munt, incomplete pass. Trevor's 19 of 40. Stacked, what, 6 times, maybe 7? How many times was he sacked? 6 times. Imagine throwing under 50% of your plays and then getting sacked 6 times. And then now Brian Thomas is down. Somebody let me know if that's a serious injury there. That would be unfortunate. I will say that this Alvin at 12-1 is bettable. That's the last first TD. We have CD for the 4s. We have AJ Brown for the 1s, and now Alvin Kamara. Those are the first tutties. That's what we're going with. Alvin Kamara, first touchdown. 12-1 ESPN bet. And that's going to wrap it. That's going to wrap it up for the plays. I'll read through everything we bet. There's a shit ton. But again, all of these were found via Pick the Odds and their EV screen, as well as manually looking through Pick the Odds and finding EV based on the market, the best odds available. So these are all, I would say, 90% good bets to be making because we're always using the market to help us find that. And let's go through it. We have a shit ton. Wait, what happened here? Oh, never mind. I thought that I saw 35-7. I was like, obviously that was the third touchdown for Devontae Adams. I thought that shot up. It's like, did he fumble or whatever? But here's the fat card for today. Carolina, New York Jets under 42.5. Unfortunately, long gone, but maybe you can get in live. And again, if these numbers are gone, try to look for live or maybe fade at this point and bet the overs. But this is where or unders. This is what I bet. Panthers Jets under 42.5. Colts money line 119. Jetta's 79 plus rec yards. Zacchaeus touchdown plus 275. Bad number. Brett pre-injury would fade that at this point. Quentin Johnston under 4.5 receptions. Hockenson 4+ receptions. Bill 63 plus rush yards. Daniel Jones under passing touchdowns. Hollywood 70+ reception yards. Receiving yards. Travion Henderson under rush yards. Ted McMillan over receiving yards. Tyler Warren under receiving yards. Pickens over receiving yards. Keenan Allen anytime touchdown. Spencer Rattler anytime touchdown. So those are the straights we bet like pre-stream. Also, we have a parlay SGP for the Cowboys game. Bill 70+ rush yards. Pickens 70+ receiving yards. Dallas money line. Lamb anytime touchdown. We have on Caesars with their touchdown boost. CD anytime. Jefferson anytime. Swift anytime. Cowboys -1.5, -104. Using FanDuel's 30% boost, we have Rico Dowdle anytime. Kayshon Boutte anytime. AJ Brown first touchdown. Dobbins under 15.5 rushing attempts. Falcons money line +105. Breece Hall anytime. Kamara anytime. Vidal over receiving yards with the DraftKings boost +1203. Niners first quarter +106. Lamb first touchdown +1197 with the DK boost. And Alvin Kamara first touchdown on ESPN. That is the card, boys. Hopefully we get an ETN touchdown. We got games kicking off in 30. Shout out to everybody for hopping in. I really appreciate you. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe at GoBetSmart. Have a lot of content coming out over the next 2 weeks. I've been dropping at least 4 to 7 shorts a week for the last couple of weeks. Long form. Didn't have one this past week, but have 3 in the pipeline coming out for the next 2 weeks. Actually, 4 videos coming out in the next 2 weeks. So make sure you guys are subscribed on YouTube. If you're watching on X, follow at GoBetSmart and at Slime Action. And also head over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. So good luck, everybody. Have a great day. We have a lot of stuff. We'll recap, of course, everything on stream tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern for the doubleheader. We'll recap today's bets, and we'll also get some bets for the Tuesday night doubleheader. Please be on Pickett. Yeah, I'll be syncing. So absolutely. My Pickett is also at GoBetSmart. So I'll get a sync in. Also have like a lot of stuff that I bet like for the contest, for example, that I'm running with some of the other tools. So there's a lot of plays that will be there. I also like haven't really messed around with like the public settings for like bets because I want to make sure that I'm showcasing everything. So I'll get the Pickett situation sorted out. Absolutely. I sync every 2 days. Every time I log into Pickett, I sync. But I have a lot of stuff pending from like, other contests I do with tools to like track their stuff, as well as also general like, so we track from like tools that we are running promotions with. We're also testing different EV filters on Pick the Odds, Outlier, etc. So absolutely we'll get things posted on Pickett as well. So again, thank you for everybody for hopping in. Appreciate you all. Have an amazing Sunday, and I'll see you guys